is time now to start with some of our technical topics, which really is what we're all gathered here for, to discuss innovation and what is coming next in this industry. So we are starting with a journey from Web2 to Web3, how digital leaders are embracing Web3. And so on our panel, we have our moderator, Anita Kalagis, I hope I got that right. We have YouTuber Sapna Singh. We have Pedro Rivera, blockchain investor and advocate. We have Pekka Kalka, the CEO of Yotta Chain Mina. We have Bruce Porter, the founder of Washington Elite. And we have Khalid Sheikh, CEO of Soko. So please, I welcome you all to stage, and everyone put your hands together for this incredible panel discussion. Let's get started.
Thank you so much, Lily. And of course, thank you, Cashaa, thank you, Vertex, for having us here today. And I'm very honored and happy to be here on stage and sharing the stage with these amazing technology experts. Thank you. So I would want to start very quickly introducing myself and then each and every panelist in turn. So my name is Anita Kalergis. I'm also known as Crypto Granny. And my mission is to involve everyone to enjoy and to get on board in the technological and economical revolution that we are experiencing today. So please, if each and everyone, tell very briefly who you are and why have you been invited to this panel today.
Hello everyone, my name is Sapna Singh. I'm from India. I'm a crypto influencer, I'm an author, and I'm a speaker now. And, I started my journey in 2016 in crypto. I started educating people about crypto. And I'm in this field because of the love that I have for technology, because I came from a tech background. I'm a software engineer by myself, but I chose crypto because I think it is a financial market which is tech driven, and that interests me a lot.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Pekka Kelkka, originally from Finland, 17 years in Dubai, next April. So I've been online since '94, since the birth of internet, when the first internet browser Netscape was launched. Last 7 years I've been full-time on blockchain and cryptos, last 2.5 years advising projects from Argentina, US, Europe, here and in China.
Hello everyone, my name is Khalid Sheikh and I'm the CEO of Soko's decentralized NFT marketplace. We provide art, sports memorabilia and sports collectibles on our platform with the power of NFT.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Pedro Rivera, blockchain advocate, investor, community builder, and you know, I like to have good vibes. So she asked why we're here on stage. Very simple. So we got some good vibes. We can have a little fun. We add a little spice and a little color to the commentary.
Excellent. And obviously one of the things that makes me especially happy to see the panelists I have here, because diversity, I think, is one of the things that we should be looking into even more and more, and meaning that it's not involving only female and male, but obviously representatives from all around the world, as well as younger and elder, where obviously Granny comes to the second part. Some wise has said that in simple terms, Web 1 is reading, Web 2 is reading and writing, and Web 3 is reading, writing, and owning. So my first question to you all is that how would you describe the key differences between Web 2 and Web 3 in terms of technology and user experience as well?
Thank you for the question. In recent years, we have seen a dramatic shift over how world interact with web. In 1990, Web 1 is started, and where we used to read only content on internet. But after some years, Web2 era has started, which totally changed the way we look at into the web. And in this era, we can not only read the content, but we can write also by sharing the information or by creating content. And I have to say that Web3 is something that is Web3 is something that started very early and going very good. We are connecting people all over the world in Web2, and Web2 is nothing but the internet that we are using currently. And in it, the problem that we are facing right now is we can share the content, we can connect with the people, but the problem that we are facing is the security and transparency, or we can say it is more decentralized. So now to eliminate this decentralization part, we are entering into new era, which is Web3. And in Web3, we are going to say web, which is going to be decentralized. And by decentralized, I mean that the web is going to be more secure, more transparent, and more user-focused.
Lovely. Pekka.
Right. First of all, as they say, data is new oil. And the existing internet, which we can consider Web2, by the way, Web2 is a kind of new term, and it was like considered internet before we started to talk about Web2 and Web3, we in Web1. And as data is new oil, it's all about the data ownership. And the Web3 will, in the end, it means that every one of us here in this great event and everywhere in the world, we can participate on this environment, decentralized environment, by owning these networks, owning these applications, generating even money with these cryptocurrencies, which are data again on the smart contract platforms. So it's all about the data ownership, decentralization of the data ownership.
Thank you. Khalid, your view.
I'll make it simple, Web2, we are more dependent on centralized systems, and if we want to use social media, if we want to use some systems, we are bound to use centralized systems, centralized servers. And when it comes to Web3, it is more, peer-to-peer and decentralized systems, and everyone can be part of the system, but can own their own data, and it is more transparent, it is more, more feasible for everyone. So it is Web3.
Yes, true. Pedro.
Hey, what's up? So Web 1, is very simple, right? You just read, like you explained, right? You're able to see the information that's online. You really can't contribute. Obviously, in Web 2, you're able to contribute, which is what we currently act with, right? With the social media platforms, we contribute to the information that's online and so on and so forth. But, we're kind of getting screwed for, the monetization of the participation that we actually have with these current companies. And Web3 obviously is read, write, and own. That own will come in a variety of factors, right? So a lot of people think NFTs are dead. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. NFTs as JPEGs are probably dead. Good. Or shit anyway. But the truth is, you have the true power of NFTs is in the IP, intellectual property, right? And as smart contracts progress and as protocols, decentralized protocols progress, right? I don't know where this concept of a centralized future comes from. What we've been building for the past 10 years are decentralized systems. So as decentralized protocols and smart contracts progress, and the technology behind NFTs progresses, everything that you do in terms of interaction online will be minted into NFTs. All of your identification, everything will be actually through the process of NFTs. As the creation, as the rollout of the soul-bound NFTs that Vitalik is creating, when you actually have all of your school records and your medical records and everything that be attached to you, our world will change. And with this, you'll be able to use your data in different ways that you can currently do, and you'll no longer be getting screwed by companies. And a great a great example of that is what's taking place in the music industry, right, in the entertainment business. The entertainment business is something that people have been taking advantage of throughout the beginning of time. But throughout, as the technology will progress and people are able to use or keep their creations of their intellectual property and be able to leverage that in a variety of ways, this is what the future will look like when you talk about read, write, and own your data.
Great. And you kind of touched already around my next question. No, it's all good.
Give me 1 second. There was something you said that was very key when you started off. And you talked about how there was the diversity in our industry. As you guys see, right, I'm not exactly your typical financial services or technology guy. I got into this industry with no financial services experience, no technology experience 8 years ago. And that was one of the things that drew me to it, right? Because there's no barrier entry. So I come from New York City, and I obviously have an urban background, but I'm Puerto Rican, and in those industries, they're heavily dominated by people who don't look like me, right? So this no barrier entry is extremely important, especially when we start talking about people from different parts of the world and so on and so forth, for women especially. So you don't need any permission to get active in our space. And that's something that's extremely key, and that's one of the best aspects of Web3. But go ahead.
Yes, true, and I truly agree with you totally. But now, when we talk about Web3, obviously most of the audience as well here are entrepreneurs, and it comes down to, business in the end of the day, nevertheless. So how do you see, does Web3 actually enable new business models and revenue streams as compared to what was possible with Web2? So do you think we will have new?
Yeah, we can definitely create a new businesses by using Web3, by building, developing a decentralized application, dApps, and in that we can do like decentralized finance, decentralized social media, decentralized e-commerce. It's a very there are a lot of fields that where we can use this Web3, and in many ways we can use it. Yeah.
Yes, Pekka, your view on this?
Definitely yes, but I want to clarify one thing, which is also the kind of big risk we're having today, this year, and maybe even next year, is that we are over-promising. We are not even close to have like Web3, fully blown Web3 environment. Even the decentralized finance platforms such as Uniswap, they're still using Web2 interface to access these transactions. So it means that we need to understand that the decentralization is a process, and it takes years before we're there. Like internet did in the early phase, until we had this Web2 that is now stealing our data and stealing our money practically. But by saying this, definitely Web3, when we are there, it allows us to join this phenomenon without even having a company. And that's why we are saying that this environment is permissionless. So you can join. We don't need to have a company with us to do business there. And that's the future business model, I believe, quite much. Not to forgetting what we are referring to, heard already today, that we cannot be isolated island from society. We need to collaborate with regulators. Regulations need to be for us, and we for them, which means that existing regulations don't fit. But let's collaborate with the regulators to make this for everybody.
Thank you.
I agree, and as your question is that whether it is going to create new business models. So of course it will create, and the very first example is a decentralized marketplace, where there will be no intermediaries in between, and people can buy and sell directly from one guy to another, without having anyone in between. So this one is something which is need of the new era.
True. Pedro.
I'm sorry, I was listening to these guys. I kind of forgot the question. Can you repeat the question?
So do you see new business models or new revenue streams coming from Web3?
All right. So listen, Web3, man, is created a variety of options. People ask me all the time, man, how do I make money in crypto? Like, how can I make money in crypto? They think the only two ways you can make money in crypto is trading and investing. I'm looking around, and forgive me if I don't know, but I'm pretty confident the majority of you guys in here are not traders, right? So and investing is something that, not a lot of people make money at. Usually the best way you can make money investing in crypto is through early stage deals. After that, you're pretty much gambling as to whether or not the project is going to go up or down. The truth is, almost everybody in here works in Web3, right? And that's what I try to express to people all the time, the variety of opportunities that are being created by this trillion-dollar industry that popped up out of nowhere, and it's going to continue to grow. And with that, it's going to provide a variety of opportunities in so many different spaces, and we haven't even got into what the metaverse would do for us and how many opportunities that's going to create. And none of this has anything to do with trading or investing. Whatever it is that you are good at, or you're good in real life, whatever your skill set is, it can translate into crypto, because everything on God's green earth at some point or another will turn to the digital world. So any skill set that you have can translate over to it. It's just a question of when and as the opportunities persist themselves. And I just kind of want to add one thing, because there's certain things that kind of I want to keep conscious of people. There is a need for regulation in this world, and there is a need to operate with regulators. But we in the West, and even though we're here, right, in Dubai, but Dubai is kind of considered, a lot more Western mentality. We have a tendency to think that our countries are the only place in the world that matter. The reason why people came over here to begin with is because the US had regulations that didn't make sense. So you go to deregulated markets, right? So that's all that's going to continue to happen. Don't get me wrong, there'll be a faction of our community that will abide with the regulators, and there'll be a bunch that'll just go to another country. Because there's 200 countries out there, and all of them are looking for opportunities, right, to catch up to number one, which is the US. So they're going to absolutely do anything they can to get an edge, and they're not all going to play by the same rules. They don't all get along. So with that being said, there will be a factor that will abide by the regulations and so on and so forth, and there'll be other people that will just go to other countries and just put things on the internet, and that you use a VPN and you'll be able to attach to it. So there's going to be both sides, and of course, as people go up and down, things happen. Governments not always the most safe and fair, and sometimes they collapse. And then when they collapse, and if you're regulated by a collapsed government, then it collapses, and now you don't no longer have a country, then obviously you're no longer regulated, right? But your stuff is on the internet, and the internet can't be shut off. So as long as it's not on the internet on a centralized platform, then you're fine. And that's what will continue to happen moving forward. Go ahead.
Thank you. I need to come back to this, what you said, Becca, about regulations and regulators, because obviously one of the things that attracted me when I fell into the rabbit hole around end of 2016 is that for the first time, to my knowledge, we, active in the space, are actually, and were from the very beginning, reaching out to the regulators and lawmakers and even governments and said, guys, let's work together on this. We want to change the future for better. We want to fix the bugs that we kind of, as human beings, did not do that well with, but let's change that and let's work together. So yes, come in, regulate, but let's make it in a smart way so it's, makes sense to all of us. And that is one of the aspects that I think is very fascinating still today after the recent events, and we are going back and saying, yes, let's put some, laws and regulations in place, but let's work together on this. So, coming back to, obviously, this bright future, this positive revolution, as I want to call it, because I truly believe it is a one. So how do you see that the future of the internet and online experiences progressing with the growth of Web3 technology? So how do you see the future of the internet and online experiences progressing with the growth of Web3 technology?
So talking about social media, let's just take the example of social media. So on a social media, we are seeing that we create content and there are people who are consuming it, like users. And now the problem is there are some big companies like who created this. The mic a bit closer. Sorry, closer? Okay. So there are a few companies who provided these platforms, social media platform. Now users are using it, and creators creating content and giving their 100% to it. But they are not giving the real revenue that they should be given. But and also there is a problem of security of data, like the privacy. We are sharing on internet our email, our phone number, everything we are sharing. But there is a problem that our data is not that secure. Like recently I have heard a news that Facebook is selling our data, our personal data. So this is something that we need to work on, and with Web3, since it is going to be decentralized, so I think this security part will become more stronger and more peaceful for users.
Absolutely, very good point. Pekka.
Yes, the social media was mentioned already, and that's of course the biggest thing that happened on Web2 for us. But also I believe it is the biggest change changing from Web2 to Web3. In the middle there is Web 2.5, but which means that some of these platforms are still centralized. Or let's put it this way. This way, for example, if you're talking about metaverse, there's no such a platform as Web3 metaverse that is actually functioning the way it should be, because even the biggest ones have maybe hundreds of daily users only. The biggest ones in the world, like Decentraland and Sandbox. But social media is the one thing that will be really important even this year, because I believe quite many of new Web3 orientated social media platforms will be launched. One of them will be Lens, if you want to check. It's developed by the decentralized organization, which name is Aave. And Aave, by the way, means ghost. Aave is a Finnish word, as Anita and myself is speaking this great language of Finnish. So yeah, so this is big thing that about the data ownership. We all shared this thought already in our previous answers, that data ownership is the king. And if we own our own data, our content, everything that we publish, it is secured by the smart contract and the private key for this content, which means that it's immutable, and our ownership will be there for good. It's on blockchain. So this is excellent change. And of course, there's also some revenue money sharing opportunities when it comes to this kind of environment, decentralized anything, decentralized content on blockchain Web3.
Yes, Khalid?
So definitely there is a future on this, and I see great things coming up, but as said, we have to deliver what we promised on Web3 to make it successful, as people did that on Web2, whether it is like very small, very few companies holding all the market share and everything, but they are really serious and they deliver what they say. So same thing goes with the Web3. If we deliver what we say, and it will be it will be fun. It will be great revenue. Everything will be there on that side.
True. Then again, a true businessman will always oversell. So I think we have a small challenge here, all in all, right?
Something is called oversell, and something is something overcommitment. Okay. So there should be a thin line between this. It should not be a big gap between what you say and what you deliver.
True.
Yeah,
no, I truly agree. So the question is, the future of internet and online experiences, how will they progress or change as Web3 grows?
Well, I mean, you let Elon Musk tell it, we're going to be a part of the internet, right? So, who knows? The truth is, the user experience is going to get a lot better, right? So like what the brother was saying here about, we're still far away from actually implementing these experiences to where the average person can understand them and use them, let alone be in full-fledged Web3 systems. But as those things progress and user interface gets a lot easier for people to understand, so on and so forth, I mean, it's going to be seamless, right? So you're going to have internet and everything. Every device that you have any sort of interaction with will be attached to the internet, and with that, your life will be, it's going to be like sort of like a hybrid life for those who want to, right? Because you got people who live in the mountains that are never going to care about anything, or even people who live in the city that are just never going to live that way. But the overwhelming majority of the world is going to improve connectivity, also going to improve the transactional operations between humans, because you'll have the ability to do peer-to-peer transactions a lot easier. And with that, of course, you provide a tremendous amount of opportunities. Also, something I'd like to address is how people are constantly talking about how things are taking jobs away, like things like AI and so on and so forth. And what they don't realize is that we're engaging in the creator economy, right? So in the creator economy, man, the jobs that AI is taking are essentially mundane jobs. These are jobs that are processes that can be repeated, right? So these people, they're not actually creating anything, they're just fulfilling mundane tasks. So those people, right, once they get away from those jobs, whether they have a choice or not, they'll have to pick up a skill set that'll give them an ability to provide value, which means create, right? And as you create more, you'll have more opportunities and you'll actually have more that you own, in which case you'll have more that you can leverage.
Correct, but also then the risks grow as per personal security, for instance, and that is obviously another conversation. But since you mentioned Aave, which reminds decentralized finance, I need to share with you, because I know I have the permission, because Stani Kulechov, who is the CEO of Aave, he's a friend of mine, and he was very open and shared last week in Twitter that they are expecting a DeFi baby. So a DeFi baby on the way with his wife, so I think that is lovely. But I would like to touch briefly two business areas, e-commerce and finance. So in your opinion, what is the impact of Web3 within these two specific industries?
I think it would be a great impact on e-commerce and social media you mentioned. Yeah, of course, social media, I just explained how it will create a huge impact.
Yeah.
And talking about e-commerce, we can build like a decentralized application where users can interact with each other without any intermediary, and that would be better, because if we see nowadays, because of the centralization, somewhere users are getting the problems. Because on e-commerce we share our address and our personal information, and that can be used for some not so inappropriate purposes. So in e-commerce, Web3 is going to play a huge role, I think so, yeah.
True.
Let me focus on decentralized finance, and I have e-commerce expert next to me, Khalid here. So yeah, decentralized finance, there's so much happening behind the scenes. For example, when we heard about the BlackRock going full-blown on the tokenization of the next market, which is again runs on blockchain. And then again, we know even the JP Morgan Chase is using blockchain, and Aave and Polygon on their cross-border transactions, on the next version of cross-border transactions. So this is happening behind the scenes. So much development there. So, but then again, decentralized finance includes the future. It is a future money. It's a future money transactions and future custodians, and everything will be decentralized finance. But now what we have today, it is too complicated for us to use it as the retail traders and retail transacting wallet-to-wallet type of thing on the decentralized environments. And the question for all of us is that when we will have this kind of solution that we have on Web2, as easy to use these applications, do we know that the data and the platform that we are accessing, the application that we are using, runs on AWS cloud or Azure cloud or Oracle cloud? We don't know, and we don't care. So this kind of environment we need to have also on blockchain and Web3. So we just use these applications, and they are so easy and comfortable to use, same as on the internet, and even easier and more comfortable than on internet and Web2 today.
Absolutely, and if you develop one, let me know. I'm your test. If I can do it, everyone can. Khalid, impact Web3 on e-commerce or finance, but probably e-commerce.
So as I said, in Web3 technology, the first thing will be there. There is no requirement for any intermediaries in between, and that will create more revenue on both the side with the users also. It will benefit users, the buyers, and sellers as well. And when it comes to e-commerce, if it is decentralized, if you just think about it, there is no such intermediaries between who make the most money. You will feel good. If you are a seller, then also you will feel like, the money comes to you directly. Nobody is stealing your money in between. Just providing you a solution or platform, okay? You will have a platform in Web3, and you don't have to pay anyone. So it is the beauty of decentralized marketplaces, which will be available for Web3.
Absolutely, getting rid of the middlemen. And soon the time will turn to red, I think. So Pedro, it's your turn to comment on the impact of Web3 in finance, maybe?
Well, so again, if we're going to be talking about DeFi, you have to have decentralized systems for to have decentralized finance. Common sense, right? So DeFi is not dead. In fact, DeFi worked very well in 2021. Anyone who doesn't know that, doesn't understand what took place. The DeFi protocols worked exactly as they were supposed to. It was just people were over-leveraged, bottom line. So the DeFi protocols are not going to do nothing but continue to rise, right? And the truth is, when DeFi in itself is a big word, right? Because all it is financial products offered on decentralized platforms. Right? So it's a big word in itself. Just think about all the financial products that are available out there. And if you make those on a decentralized platform, then guess what? You have decentralized finance, right? So the impact of DeFi moving forward will continue to escalate, it will continue to grow, and people will become more educated on it, and people will start to understand exactly how these protocols work, and they'll understand how to use them better, and they won't be liquidated as often. But again, you have to have decentralized systems that have decentralized finance. Not centralized, not hybrid, right? And then the other thing is in e-commerce is obvious, right? So the interaction between each other peer-to-peer and Web3 is actually what it focuses on. The wallets that will continue to evolve, right? And giving you better interaction and better user interfaces and better user experiences, whether that's in e-commerce or actual in physical commerce as well. And that will continue to evolve as our space grows.
True. And obviously, I believe we can all agree that we have a great future with a lot of opportunities and possibilities ahead of us. There are a couple of small things to be fixed before that, like security, maybe a bit on the technology side as well. But obviously, I think all in all, it's a very positive expectation around the transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So thank you, Sapna, Pekka, Khalid, and Pedro. I hope you guys enjoyed our talk, and we will be around all day for any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leave the mic on the table.
Who's going to make NFT out of this?